Coming back home in 2010 was the beginning of a reunion with a lot of guys I had played with before. One of those bands had a reunion at Matfest. It was called Triple Threat back in 1993. It was me, Bob Murphy, and a guy named Greg Peart on lead guitar. Both of these guys had kept on rocking and done extremely well with both bands they had put together. Greg had put together a band called Gypsy Moon, and Bob had put together a band called Wiseguy. And upon coming back, Bob asked me to come in and play drums for Wiseguy, and I gladly accepted the position. All of a sudden, I found myself back in the same position as I did in 1993. Bob was booking all the clubs all around Galveston consistently, almost everywhere. And one place we played a lot was called Beach Hut. Bob and I had always been really tight together on bass and drums, and together, between the two of us, we were a solid team. I had the highest respect for Bob Murphy, as years ago when we played, when he got in an accident and was shot, he said that's it, he wasn't going to play anymore. And when I returned back home 10 years later, well, his band Wiseguy was really, really strong. And putting him in that wheelchair didn't slow him down a bit. As a matter of fact, I think, if anything, it made him even more persistent. Bob had always been good at business deals with the band and always good at booking the band, but he took it all to a whole new level. Wiseguy never played one show where we were not paid. He didn't believe in being exposure. We've already been exposed, so we got paid everywhere we went. That being said, we had a standard in the band where we only played with the best guitar players, and the first go around we had a guy I'll refer to as Bo. I can only refer to him as Bo because that's how we referred to him. Bo was kind of like having James Bond in the band, literally. We're not really sure what Bo did for a daytime gig. I would guess he had something to do with the government or possibly Homeland Security, maybe law enforcement of some type. But it really didn't matter. The guy was a killer guitar player, and man, he turned places upside down when we played. That was one thing about Wiseguy, is when you came to see the band, you were guaranteed that you were going to get a great guitar solo, and you were also going to get a really good drum solo as well. Wiseguy was taking off all over the area. Everywhere you looked, every club you could see, there was a Wiseguy playing at. It was just booked all over Galveston Island. Primarily, that's where we played at on Galveston Island, and we really, other than doing a couple shows up north and in Houston, we really didn't have to go anywhere. We had everything that we needed right there in Galveston. The band would hardly practice. As a matter of fact, I don't think we ever practiced at all. We just, Bob and I knew what each other were going to do. As a bass player and drummer team, we could stand solid behind any guitar player we had up front. The band started to develop a real cult following of people that followed Bob Murphy and Wiseguy almost everywhere we went. So everywhere we went was almost full to capacity of people that were there to see Wiseguy. A lot of times we were called in to play some civic events, like we got to play 4th of July right underneath the fireworks there in Galveston at Joe's Crab Shack, and we played things like that. We also played a lot of large clubs. Everywhere we went, though, there were just people all over the place. Our show very rarely changed. Bob was a firm believer in one place gets as good as the show as the next place. So our set list remained the same, consistent, and we played the same songs, the same order everywhere we went. Bob also had was a genius as far as business. We were selling Wiseguy t-shirts, and everywhere we would go, Wiseguy t-shirts were popping up all over the place, our fans, and a lot of times when we'd show up at a gig, we'd find out that the whole wait staff was already wearing our t-shirts. We also sold bumper stickers and koozies, and everywhere we went, there were just Wiseguy shirts all over the place. As a matter of fact, it was really hard to keep the t-shirts in stock. I mean, they just sold like wildfire. Every gig we played, we almost sold out. Bob's truck even had Wiseguy on the license plate, so you knew who we were when we were pulling up or going down the road. Primarily, we played classic rock covers, and even though the trend even had spread to Galveston as far as the tribute bands, we didn't have to tribute anything. We were just playing good rock classic covers and surviving just as Wiseguy. And it really got to the point where Wiseguy became like a full-time job. I mean, I was almost paying my rent every month just off of Wiseguy gigs, and that says a lot about a band. Working with Bob again was like finding a magic that once was. He always had a way with people, and everywhere we went, everybody just knew who he was, and he had a very charming nature about him. He always had a way with the ladies. That part I'd love to explain to you guys. I don't know, but it's something when you got the girls following your band, then other people follow your band, and everywhere we went, there were just girls everywhere wearing our shirts, and Bob certainly had a way with the ladies, and whatever that way was, it attracted other people to come see our band. I mean, let's face it, when you're going to go see a cover band play somewhere, do you want to go somewhere where the place is full of people and full of hot-looking girls in bikinis? Or do you want to go to a place that's empty and just a bunch of guys sitting around drinking beer? The first opportunity I'm going to take is, of course, go where all the girls are, and that was usually at the Beach Hut, amongst other places. But wherever we went, we seemed to have a very large portion of the audience were women. And that's kind of a secret of the music world as well. I mean, if you're attracting the girls to your shows, you're going to have good shows. You're going to pack places. Where the girls are, that's where the guys go, and that's where the party is. For whatever reason they followed us, it definitely attracted more and more people to Wiseguy, and Wiseguy was booking all over the place as a result of it. You never could tell from one place to the next what our fans were going to do. A lot of times they get up and dance or just go crazy, and bikini tops flew all over the place. You never knew what was going to happen at a Wiseguy show. Eventually, as with all things in the world of rock and roll, things came to a change, and Bo got a serious job offer of some kind in Washington, and we replaced him with a really good guitar player by the name of Nick Maskey. Keeping the standards at its highest, Wiseguy always had a good guitar player, and when Nick came along in the band, it just took off all over again, and here we go again. It was almost as if Bo had never left the band, and now we had Nick, and Nick was just tearing places up, and his guitar solos were just incredible. He was known to do oftentimes like a 15 or 20 minute guitar solo, captivating the audience everywhere he went. The places got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the amount of equipment we were hauling around got larger and larger. We had a system to where I would help set everything up. Of course, Bob being in the wheelchair, the drummer would do the load in, and the guitar player was usually in charge of the load out everywhere we went. It eventually got to the point where we were playing all over the Clear Lake and NASA circuit, all over the Galveston circuit, and all over the North Houston circuit. But wherever we went, people knew about the band. They knew about Wiseguy. They had heard about us. Our t-shirts were selling like mad. Our fans were there at every show. And I mean, things were really going great. I mean, it was just really something to be said to walk into some of these places. We even played one place that had an old-timey electric chair. It was a jailhouse saloon up north, and I got to sit in the electric chair and get a picture. That was pretty cool. But to walk into these places and just see all this going on was really something. I mean, I myself was amazed to see some of the size of some of the places and some of the crowds that Wiseguy was attracting. It didn't matter if we were playing somewhere that was really, really big or somewhere that was really, really small. The band was still just Wiseguy. We were just guys doing cover rock and roll and playing in a cover band and having a good time. And we still managed to remain pretty humble everywhere we went. It really got to be kind of a traveling circus, just the three of us on the road all the time, going from place to place just on weekends and playing. I was definitely looking forward to coming home and playing gigs at home. And if there's one person that definitely introduced me back into the Houston Galveston music scene, it was Bob Murphy. And all of a sudden, I mean, I found myself doing very well and playing places all over the place. And I was just riding a high that I couldn't believe. And basically, we rode that high until about 2013, 2014, where we just honestly became tired of playing the same places and being on the same circuit, no matter how large the crowd or where it was. We just pretty much got tired of doing the same show and the same thing. In a lot of places, we wouldn't even take him unless the offer was financially pretty large. That's another thing that Bob firmly believed in, and I think all of us did as well, is that sometimes it was important to take a break and just sit back and relax and do other things for a while other than play music. When you get back together, it makes it more fresh. So we had taken a couple years off. I was in Dallas and I saw the news about a hurricane fixing to hit the area. I became worried about my friend. I called him. He said, "Oh, I'm not worried about a hurricane. I've been through several of them, man. It's no big deal." Being no stranger to hurricanes myself, I said he's probably all right. And about 2 days after the hurricane, the dirty side of the storm came around and hit. I became worried. I hadn't heard from him. I opened up the Facebook page and then I saw all these posts that he had passed away. And I was like, what's going on? I called Gordon Tees, who was another guitar player we had. And he told me that Bob had gotten trapped in his own home and died in Hurricane Harvey. He drowned. And that day that I heard that news in Dallas, Texas, I checked into my hotel room, and I tore the living shit out of that room and collapsed in just tears. And my girlfriend and my little dog came over. I think we cried for the next 2 days. My life will never be the same. I don't think I'll get over it. What a horrible way for a great musician to die. And I just still feel bad that there's nothing that anybody could do.